Through the Bible. We are listening to the stories of Jesus' death, resurrection, and ascension. Our story for today is Gethsemane, and Peter denies Jesus. After celebrating the Passover meal, Jesus led his disciples to the Mount of Olives. All of you will desert me, Jesus told them, for God has declared through the prophets, I will kill the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. But after I am raised to life again, I will go to Galilee and meet you there. Peter said to him, I will never desert you, no matter what the others do. Peter, Jesus said, before the cock crows a second time tomorrow morning, you will deny me 3 times. No, Peter insisted, not even if I have to die with you, I'll never deny you. And all the other disciples vowed the same. They came to an olive grove called the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him and told the others to sit here while I go and pray. Jesus began to be filled with horror and deepest distress. He told Peter, James, and John, my soul is crushed by sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and watch and pray with me. Jesus went on a little further and fell to the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, the awful hour awaiting him might never come. Father, Father, he pleaded, everything is possible for you. Take away this cup from me. Yet I want your will, not mine. Jesus returned to find the 3 disciples asleep. Jesus woke them and told Peter, watch with me and pray, lest the tempter overpowers you. For though the spirit is willing enough, the body is weak. But when Jesus returned the second and third time, after more prayer, the 3 disciples had fallen asleep once more. The third time Jesus returned to them, he said, the time for sleep has ended. Look, I am betrayed into the hands of wicked men. Come, get up, we must go. Look, my betrayer is here. That moment, Judas arrived with a crowd equipped with swords and clubs, sent out by the chief priests and other Jewish leaders. Judas had agreed to show them who Jesus was by greeting him with a kiss. The men seized Jesus and arrested him. Peter drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. But Jesus told Peter to put his sword away. Don't resist anymore, Jesus insisted. Then he reached out, touched the place where the man's ear had been, and restored it. Jesus was led off to the high priest's residence. All the other disciples deserted Jesus and fled. John and Peter, however, followed Jesus but kept their distance. Peter followed right into the courtyard of the high priest and sat with the guards, warming himself by the fire. The chief priests and Jewish leaders were looking for evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death, but they did not find any. Many testified falsely against him, but their statements did not agree. Some claimed, we heard him say, I will destroy this temple made with human hands, and in 3 days will build another, not made with hands. Are you not going to answer? The high priest asked Jesus, but Jesus remained silent. The high priest asked Jesus, are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One? I am, Jesus said, and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. At hearing this, the high priest tore his clothes. Why do we need any more witnesses? He asked. "You have heard this blasphemy. What do you think?" They shouted, "Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!" But some began to spit at Jesus. They blindfolded him, struck him with their fists, and said, "Prophesy!" And the guards took him and beat him. While Peter was in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came by. She looked closely at Peter and said, "You were with that Nazarene Jesus." Peter denied it. "I don't know what you're talking about," he replied. But later, out by the gate, another woman noticed him and said to those standing around, "This man was with Jesus." Again, Peter denied it, this time with an oath. "I don't even know the man," he said. Men who had been standing there came over to Peter and said, "We know you are one of his disciples, for we can tell by your Galilean accent." Peter began to curse and swear. "I don't even know the man," he said. Immediately the cock crowed. Jesus turned around and looked at Peter. Peter remembered what Jesus had said earlier, "Before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times." Peter went away and cried bitterly.